Is it too late to buy Bitcoin? That has been the million-dollar question that everyone's asking themselves, and it's a question that's actually really hard to come to an answer because Bitcoin is pretty expensive right now. And, you know, depending on when this video is, because it's so volatile, I don't want to quote a price because it's at the upper, let's say, quadrant of its high, right? And depending on when this video comes out, you know, because it takes me a few days to edit it, who knows what's happening? But the short answer is Bitcoin's higher than it's ever been. You know, it's in the upper quadrant. And like myself, a lot of you guys might feel like, have I lost my chance to buy Bitcoin? And I'm gonna give you guys the market answer, right? And what you should, like from a textbook answer, you know, if you were to open up an economics textbook, I'm gonna give you guys what an economics textbook would tell you because that is educational information and it's easy to pull, but I'm gonna tell you guys what it is. And then I'm gonna give you guys what I'm doing because it's a little bit different, but I'll tell you why. So the textbook answer is no. The textbook answer is if you dollar cost average, and this is not the actual like this is like there's the economics and then there's like the hyphenated translated economics and then there's a translation of the translation of the translation of the translation of the translation is dollar cost average. The short answer is that asset class based on what it's doing and how it's being treated by the, you know, the total market and the total economy is just kind of continue to buy into it. Don't lump sum, average into it. If you feel like, you know, if you're willing to take the risk, yeah, just buy all in right now. There is going to be fluctuation up and down. Is it too late? Absolutely not. Because if you kept saying it was too late for anything, Apple, Google, Amazon, whatever it is, Tesla, you would have never bought it, right? And never buying it, the opportunity cost is what hurts you. But the same goes, you take the risk, right? Investing is a risk. No matter what you invest in, you're taking a risk. Nothing is a for sure thing. There have been plenty of crashes that will prove otherwise. If you're young like I am, the only crash that we've really seen was COVID and it wasn't that bad. So well, it was bad, but it wasn't as bad as other crashes in terms of like total loss of dollars and how it impacted the economy because we kind of floated out of it and there was a wealth transfer regardless. That's another video in and of itself. But the short answer is, you know, everybody sees like, oh, it's always gonna be green. We're always headed up. You know, you have educated investors that went into COVID that it didn't mean as much. You got young people that didn't really feel it. And now they're like, we went through the biggest run of basically our lives and we're like, yeah, investing is awesome. But the reality is that it's not always going to go up. So any type of investing is a risk, but you know, economics and microeconomics would say that if you miss your window or you don't dollar or average your investment, dollar cost average into it. Dollar cost average just means like buying chunks at a certain period of time and not all at once. So you're trying to get like an average price across the market, right? But that's what economics would say, just so you don't miss it, right? It's like if you were invested over the last like 15 years and you missed the best like 7 or 8 trading days, you would almost like have the same amount of money as you had when you started. But if you didn't, you'd have like 15 times that or something like that. I don't remember the exact stat, but you know, you make money in the market with a few days out of a long time horizon. And if you're in for those few days, that's where you make the money. If you held Bitcoin at $37,000 or whatever it was in the last kind of lower quadrant, and you held and you held and you held, you have 3 times the amount of money you have essentially today. And it was like about holding. It was kind of like 1 week it grew, right? It wasn't this averaged out thing. So it's kind of like doing that. Now, what you might find interesting is somebody that's been investing in this, that's maybe younger, maybe in the same demographic as you, or is maybe just more knowledgeable about the crypto market and just investing, and you want to take advice from somebody that's doing this and looking at it every single day, every hour of every single day. I'm waiting. I'm willing to take the risk that we're going to see a rebound, and I think that we are going to see a rebound. And I'm willing to take the risk of it not rebounding, in that if it rebounds and having money to buy low, I'd rather take the risk for a higher reward. And the reason I say that is because I think that we're positioned in a place where the rest of the market is going to pay out over time, where if I invest money in like VOO or VTI, I'm going to have good returns. I'm going to have I personally think, and I think that the market would agree generally, if you look at long-term horizons, you're going to get similar returns in other asset classes. Now with Bitcoin, you can have just as much gain as you can have loss, and we can't forget that, right? It's not all just rainbows and daisies and all that stuff and butterflies, whatever the saying is. But if I buy a ton right now, it's not like it's just going to go to 150 grand. It would be hard, like it would break a lot of models to say that it would just go to 150 grand. Going to 100 grand broke some models, but it didn't fully take it out of what makes sense, right? Going to 150 grand would be very surprising. So for me, the odds that it pulls back a little bit and then goes back up, or goes back, which has been historically what Bitcoin has been doing, is what I'm going to do. I might lose here. I might pay the price of, you know, market or kind of missing the opportunity cost. But for me, that is the bet. My bet is that it drops and then I get a discounted price back up to it, and then hope for appreciation, right? And I'm just doing that because it's a volatile asset, but I'm also doing it because I have the money and it's my side play, and my crypto represents a smaller portion of my total investment assets, and yada yada yada. That's what I'm planning on doing. But again, I'm taking on that risk. In the same risk that you might take on, buying it now and it going down, I'm taking on the risk of not owning it and hoping that it goes down, and buying it when it goes, and buying it before it goes back up. But it might go back up and I might miss my chance, and then I have to dollar cost average, and I've taken a loss anyways. So that's what I'm doing. Is it too late? No. Educational theory says definitely no, because then you would never invest if it was always too late, because there's always going to be market highs. The market's always getting higher. You have to buy eventually. In terms of the situation, specifically what I'm doing, I'm just waiting. Is it too late? Absolutely not. You should never feel like it's too late, because again, if you felt like it was too late, which seems to be the most common comment on YouTube and the internet, you shouldn't be investing in the first place because you don't understand how markets and the economy works. So it's really important to understand that the market's always going to grow. You want it to grow. It can never be too late because eventually it will grow. Even if you buy it now and you lose a little bit, like let's say you buy some VOO right now and you lose a little bit, the S&P 500 is going to consistently grow. You will eventually make that money back. It might take longer, but you'll make the money back, right? Probably, it could all go to zero. It won't go to zero, but it could all crash at, just asterisks, but it probably will pay you back. So, microeconomics and economics say no. Is that the best risk trade? Maybe not. I'm taking a huge risk play, but then hoping that it's going to go down, but that's just me. I'll see you guys in the next video.